You're tuned in to a Grown Folks production. In the mix with the commish, Nate.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Press Pass Live, your weekly OMFL podcast show. Looks like I entered the wrong password here. Let's see if we can get the right. There we go. We got the right password now. We got a lot to get into. We are late getting started. Such is my life, though, since I am an Uber again for my teenage son. I'm okay with that, though, as we get some things figured out. Let's get over to the big screen. We're going to bring Trey in here today. I'm excited that my guy Trey is going to be hanging out with me. So let's see if we can get back over there. I'm trying to do this without actually switching screens, and so I'm looking at it the same way that you guys are looking at it. I'm gonna go ahead and just own up right here in front of everybody. This is not what I want. What do I want? There's no telling what you guys are gonna see in here. This is what I want right here. Is it? Yeah, there's where I want it, right there. I was supposed to send Trey an agenda when he told me, oh yeah, I can go ahead and I can be on there with you. And I was like, well, that'll be awesome. Let's freaking do it. And I never had an opportunity to put agenda together. That's my life right now. Life today has been crazy. And I'm just barely keeping up. But I do have an agenda in front of me on real yellow sticky pad paper. Imagine that. I'm an old-fashioned guy. I like to write things down. Trey, come join me in this chat. As long as you have access to it, you should have access to it. If not, I can make sure to give you access to it. Even though I'm pretty sure you have it. There he is. Is that him? Let me make sure that's you. It is you. Cool. Let's get you in here. All right, Trey's going to come join me in a minute. We got a lot to talk about. I'm going to fire up Madden as we get ready to talk about it. Here's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk about the new running and kind of the mechanisms, kind of some tips and some tricks behind running. We're going to talk about the new passing mechanic, kind of all the ways that you should be looking at the new passing mechanic, the different things that it does. And then we're going to get into the fun stuff, the rule changes, and the things that are still being in discussions right now for Madden 23. Let me shut up for a second and welcome in Trey. Trey, how you doing tonight, bud?
I'm doing good. How are you, Nate?
Good, man. I'm sorry I was not able to send you an agenda, but at 9:57, I was finishing the agenda, and then I had to run out, get my boy, and there was just no chance. I just didn't have time to do it all, and so we're going to get you to fly by the seat of your pants with me, but I'm sure it's going to be just great. How many games do we have under our belt? Like 450? What are we at?
I think I've gotten 2 with you and 1 with Penguins, but Hurt just messaged me. Subscriber only for the chat on YouTube. I don't know if that's an issue.
No, it is subscriber only, which means he needs to be a subscriber. And so he needs to subscribe, because if I don't do that, randos who are pushing their porn sites start logging in, and the robots start sending all these spam porn site chat messages, and it drives me insane. No, it drives me batty. So you should be a subscriber, but I've seen Big Hurt talk to me in here before, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Let's talk Madden 23. I'm surprised you don't have more games under your belt. I'm sure you're going to get there, though. Let's start off with running, because I think it's going to be the one that takes the least of the time to kind of talk about. There's a new running mechanic that has been added, but I think outside, before we dive into the new running mechanic, there is this idea that with the new mechanisms, the movement, what is it called? Why am I drawing a blank on what the new movement is called?
I can't remember, like full control
something like that. Go look it up, okay? I don't work for Madden. You know what it is. That has changed the way that you have to run in Madden 23. And it was good to see. I poked in my head in chat for just a quick second as I was seeing, I was posting the message that we were finally live and about to start playing. And I seen a bunch of guys looking for games, so I think that's a really good thing. So let's, I want to get into practice mode. Okay, I guess I got to go to my franchise to get into practice mode. But the new player movement mechanics have changed a lot of the way that you have to move and move in and out and kind of do different things. What's up, Hurt? Good to see you, buddy. There we go. And so that's going to change a lot of the running. A little bit of running that you've got to play with. What are kind of the knee-jerk reactions to some of the running mechanics?
So I've got to experience DeAndre Swift, and I've got to experience running with Lamar Jackson and J.K. Dobbins. Very interesting.
How so?
I've only gotten to experience the agile players. I haven't got to experience, the power backs like the Derrick Henrys and whatnot. I'm going to be interested to see if those bigger backs can move like the smaller backs. So I love how the smaller backs move. You have that tight little hole that you need them to fit into, and they just hit the right button and boom, right through the hole.
I'm going to need everybody to hold back your "that's what she said" craziness that I know is itching to be said right now, which is its own "that's what she said" kind of phrase right there. But you're right. I haven't got to play with many big backs. Now, I do play with Alvin Kamara, who's only 89 speed. Now, I wouldn't consider him a big back by any stretch of the means, but he definitely is a smaller, slower back. And I think that has a lot to do with it. I'm going to open up a little practice. I'm hoping that it will let me do some practice here. Will it let me change teams? I don't think it'll let me change teams. I got to figure out like what I'm doing wrong to make that happen. But one of the things are the new plant mechanic. And so as you are it's all the normal stuff, right? You can do all the normal things. Let's do Alvin. What do we want to do? Let's do run. Can we do random plays and run? Let's just do an ISO run. We'll just play against random defense. Have to make this bigger. That's what she said too. Let's go random play. That should work. Okay. So the new one cut mechanism is the L2 button. So as you are moving in a direction, you can hold L2 and make a sharper cut and not lose as much momentum as kind of the old systems that you used to have. But there is a key, and we're going to get to the kind of that key in a little bit. Oh my goodness, I just got blowed up. I am playing not with my regular PlayStation. So the PlayStation's on, but I'm playing watching my OBS, which has like a 0.5 lag. And if you've never done that, it sucks. It is not easy. And I also think that, let me check something real fast, because now I'm starting to think I left a setting wrong. And I did leave a setting wrong because I can see it in my camera. So my bad. The gameplay is going to be stuttery because I have it on 30 frames per second with my camera, and everything else is set to 60 frames per second. So that's going to be my bad. We'll fix that a little bit later. One of the keys, though, Trey, is going to be the speed burst. Immediately, right? Like, that's the old-fashioned way of playing. Immediately, as soon as you get the ball, I'm holding speed burst wherever I want to go. In Madden 23, you're not going to be able to hold speed burst. You need to really be patient whenever kind of picking exactly where you're going to go. Now, you need to run, of course, in the OMFL. Try to run the play where it's designed to go. This is just an old-fashioned ISO between the center and tackle, kind of right up the guard's tail right here. So at the same time, you don't want to predetermine exactly where you want to go. You need to let the play kind of unfold, and keeping your finger off the speed burst, the R2 trigger, is going to allow you to make some of those subtle movements. Of course, me trying to play through lag is not going to really cut it. But what you want to do is just to be able to make these subtle left-right movements and be able to have the ability to smash L2 with the one-cut system and get on out of there if you need to. Let me see if I can get... okay, this is going to be a power move. This is going to send me to the right side. There's a blitz coming, so I don't know how well this one's going to play out. But I'm going to see if I can do the one cut and cut it back up towards the middle. Again, I don't know. Yeah, there you go. A little bit. It got shut down just a little bit there because of the defensive tackle getting some pursuit. but I was able to make a little bit of a cut up there. And that's what that R2 or that L2 button is going to allow you to do. It's going to allow you to make those really heavy cuts, those really strong cuts, kind of plant your leg and get going. But one of the biggest things is you need to watch your speed burst. Only hit that whenever you know that you're free. Get through the line, get where you need to go, and then smash that thing to go ahead and run away from defenders instead of using it right at the snap, because you're going to lose a lot of the mobility that you want and that you need, especially in the backfield. The other thing I think is just a tip, and I'd love to see if you have any tips early on, is just spin move doesn't work that great. And so, I mean, definitely use juke. I think you should keep the juke button in your arsenal, left, right on the R stick. Stiff arm, I'm a big fan of the stiff arm, even with Alvin Kamara. You know, I love to just put a good old-fashioned stiff arm out there and do what you need to do. But when it comes to the spin move, it's slower this Madden, which I'm fine with. And you really need to set it up, right? Like it's that one-on-one defender, maybe roll into the outside or something like that, and you're trying to make a play. You can maybe use the spin move to come back in, but it's not going to be something that you are going to use a lot of. And then finally, and then I'll turn it over to Trey to see if he's got any tips or tricks, is just be ready for those mini games. And if you get caught in a mini game and you're not on that X button to kind of battle your way out of it, or you're just nervous about battling your way out of it, go down. I think it's square, or allow you to kind of give yourself up in those mini games. I'm not 100% sure of that because I need more practice with it myself. But if you are going to fight them, have your finger ready on that X button, because those are going to pop up randomly throughout these tackles. And you're on that one-on-one situation, you could win it, you could fumble it. But when you allow yourself to be stood up and you're fighting, trying to break through that tackle, other tacklers, other defenders are going to come into that play, and they're going to be trying to strip that ball away. And you're going to tend to give up more fumbles than you will to break a lot of those tackles if you're not one-on-one. Trey, any other tips that you would give for the running game?
Well, because I play a lot of MUT in my off time, I've been able to use Barry Sanders as my running back because of the preloads and stuff. So I have been able to learn that the spin move is ineffective, but I found one way to make it effective. If you're going to use the spin move, hit the juke and then spin the opposite way. I don't know why it works. So if you're going to juke left, spin right.
I just did it as you were saying it. Of course, there was no one to juke or spin because I juked myself into a wide open spot that I could get to. I really think, and Trey, I don't know if it's a habit that you've ever had to break, but I know it's, for me, it's 100% a habit I've had to break, and that is to not hold that speed burst until you are ready and you see a clear pathway. Now, I started doing that 2 Maddens ago, and then last Madden it was part of just my game of making sure I wasn't smashing it until you, because I would watch you and D Money and D Wayne. I'd watch you guys, and it felt nearly impossible to kind of stop you. Some guys are saying that you're low. I'm gonna turn him up, Big Hurt. And I felt like I would watch y'all like squeeze through these tiny, slivers of a lane. I was like, how are these guys able to do that? And I think it was just keeping your finger off the speed burst and allowing yourself to get through the hole and then make cuts and do the different things that you needed to do is just absolute key.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I had to learn over time that when you speed burst immediately, the D-line tends to get better block sheds.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those, I trained myself to just wait until I clear the D-line, then we'll go.
And in this Madden, it is 100% what's going to happen. If the second you hit that speed burst, Madden is allowing the defensive linemen, defensive ends to disengage off of your offensive lineman and get a tackle. All right, now the fun stuff. Let's talk about the new passing mechanism or mechanic. I don't know exactly which way I'm supposed to see that. Let me see if I can pull it up in my options here. Oh, that's not what I want to do. No, don't quit the game. See if I can pull it. There are 3 different options that you can set it to.
Classic, pass, precision,
here we go.
And precision with accuracy.
Yep, so there's classic. So this is the way the game has always played, is classic. In my opinion, you will be a lesser than player playing with Classic than just taking the time to learn the new system. You will throw more picks. You will have less big plays unless you learn the new system.
Here's the odd caveat to this. There's been testing done. Right now on Classic, you get the ball out quicker than on Precision.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that you do get the ball out quicker. But I think in the bit that I played, now I wouldn't sit here. I probably played the same amount of games that you've played, so I have not had millions of games under my belt. I have watched a lot of videos because I'm constantly like looking to see. That's one of the things as a commissioner I'm trying to do better this Madden is normally I don't do YouTube videos at all. I don't know. I just don't. But like, I understand that there is always going to be a handful of guys that do Madden YouTube videos and learn all the gimmicks. And so I'm like, I'm trying to be more aware of like what's out there. What are people hearing and saying and doing? And so in my research and in my gameplay, the ball, I don't doubt 100% the ball comes out faster on Classic, but you will have way less control and way less accuracy. And there is a trade-off there. You don't get it out as quick, but if you can speed up, if you can work on making your reads and getting that read done quicker and making your decision quicker, you're going to have so many more options with the new system of either placement and accuracy. So let's talk about the first one first, placement. Placement is just picking exactly where it's going to go. So as soon as you pick where a player is going, which player you're going to throw to, there's going to be kind of a reticle that's going to be placed around them. That is what that player's skill level will allow them to get to. And you'll be able to move kind of the ball within that reticle depending on exactly what these other settings are set to. Placement with accuracy is just going to add an accuracy meter there. So you're not only going to give the ability to kind of move the reticle where you want it within that circle, but you're also going to be able to pick the strength with a meter so that you can get that ball there just a little bit more quicker. It just allows you to kind of fine tune it a little bit easier than, the old Classic mode where it was like tap, hold slightly, and then hold a lot, right? Those were the three options. Now you actually get a meter so you can kind of really decide, okay, for this throw, we're throwing a 9 route, a go route, fly route, whatever you're going to call it. I need to get the ball out there, so I'm not going to put as much strength behind it. Oh, this is a crossing route between a linebacker and a safety, and I'm really needing to bullet in there, so I'm going to hold it down. I'm going to try to get it. There's like a little green meter that you're trying to hit every single time.
You got to pull Baker Mayfield from today.
Say that again?
Got to pull a Baker Mayfield from today. I was watching a highlight. He put it literally right between two defenders.
Yeah, it gives you a lot more kind of abilities to make plays. Now, this is the one I'm currently trying to practice with. Now, I can tell you right now, with me not playing with Madden on my screen and me trying to play through OBS, I'm not going to be able to pass the ball at all because there literally is like almost a full 1 second lag between the game, what it's doing, and what I'm seeing. And so there's literally no way that I'm going to be able to pass the ball. I'll try, but we'll talk through it. The next thing is passing slowdown. Again, first things first, you're allowed to do any of these three that you want as an owner. This is not a league-wide setting. Every individual is allowed to select either one of them that they want. There is one extra setting that's with the two of these. So it's with placement and accuracy. There is a separate setting that you have to do a separate button push that we're probably not going to allow, but we'll talk about that here in just a second. Passing slowdown, don't worry about this. This is only for offline. If you're playing online, basically this just slows the play down so that you can kind of make that read. It doesn't do it online, so no need to even worry about that. Freeform, reticle, this also doesn't matter because we are not doing freeform passing. So on placement, as soon as you hit what receiver you're going to, I'll show it in a second, you're going to get a little reticle within a circle. You'll get to move it anywhere in that reticle, depending on kind of your speed that you have it set on. On placement and accuracy, you're not only going to get to move it, but you're also going to have a strength meter that decides. You can hold down L2. I think it's L2. Yeah. Let me make sure. Yes, L2. You can hold down L2 on top of doing those two button pushes, depending on if you have it placement and accuracy or just placement. Either one of those, you can hold down L2 And instead of being constrained to just the circle that your receiver can get to, holding L2 will allow you to put that reticle anywhere on the field that you want to put it to. And so if you go and watch videos, you literally can put it 10, 7, 12 yards if you wanted to outside of the circle that your receiver can get to. And your receiver will then try to go make a play on that ball. For instance, I'm throwing a 9 route, a go route, a fly route. That's just the straight vertical route, right? And I do free form passing and I hold it 10 yards to the inside because the cornerback is shoulder to shoulder with my receiver, but he's on the outside. My receiver will then break to the inside to go make a play on that ball. The reason, and again, we'll break it down a little bit more later, the reason we're not going to allow that is because we are a no-switch league. And the defender, if I were playing a regular league game or an online game or a MUT game, right, I could, just like the receiver's going to make a play on the ball, I could select the cornerback and I too could go make a play on the ball. But with us being a no-switch league, the defender won't go make a play on the ball the way that the receiver will go make a play on the ball. So it allows you to basically, cheat is not the word. I don't have a word that fits, but you're allowed to literally put the ball anywhere you want and the receiver will go make a play on it. Yeah. And so we are not going to allow free farm. So as far as I know, free farm, reticle distance and reticle speed are only affected in free farm passing. The normal reticle that will come up, and I'll show it in a second, and the normal meter is the normal things without you holding L2, just you selecting a receiver and throwing to that receiver. So I keep my reticle visibility on so I can see exactly where I'm placing it. And I've been trying to get used to having the meter on. I did have it hidden for a little bit, but I'm trying to get used to having that meter on. So those are the two different options that you have. And there's a lot of opportunities to get used to it, but you really need to get in here and practice it, which is why we are going to be playing preseason because I think it's just critical to force people to go play with it. Because what's going to happen, Trey, in my opinion, I think that if we just went straight season 1, week 1, right, people would immediately start to get discouraged and frustrated because there is a learning curve behind it. And I'm afraid people would start giving up on it. And so I think that there needs to be a learning opportunity for people to do it. But what are your early thoughts on all of the different passing mechanics?
I'm currently just using the placement because I just don't have the reactions to deal with the accuracy as well.
You and me both.
So I just do the placements, and I am loving it. The fact that I can just put that ball, if I see the guy shade me on the inside, I can put it to the outside. If he's shading me on the outside, I can put it to the inside. If he's playing me over the top, I can put it underneath. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and on top of that, the old high and low throw. So the L1 for high. Well, I don't know. Is L2 still for low?
No. So from what I've played with, that doesn't come into effect with the placement accuracies.
Okay. I thought you could still do high and low, but I need
I haven't
to
figured it out if you can.
Yeah, I know you can do high, but I just was thinking if L2 is the new free form, then maybe you can't do low. Maybe low is just moving the reticle to where you want it. But I like it too because especially with that middle linebacker play, you can really place that ball where you need it to. Fades are back in the game. They're not perfect still, but you can kind of place that ball exactly where back shoulder throws. It allows you to really have more control over where that's going, and your quarterback accuracy will affect still where the throw goes. So I may, let's say I've got Winston right. I don't know Winston's stats off the top of my head. I think he's in like the low 80s, 70s for some of his accuracies. I may say back shoulder throw to Thomas on the left side, and he still may not throw it exactly where I tell him to throw it. So just because you tell your quarterback to throw there, their accuracies still play a role in you trying to get the ball there. One of the other things, that's another reason why I just love freeform. I mean, not freeform, but the accuracy and the placement is like, that's a slant on the inside. Linebackers playing a zone. They kind of go outside. I'm able to shade that ball back in. the wide receiver just kind of sits down in that zone, makes the catch, slides down, good to go. Just so many more realistic type of situations and throws than what we were used to seeing. I'm going to pick a new play real quick because I think this is going to be a biggest change for a lot of people whenever it comes to the new passing. Let me choose new play. I'm going to spread them out. Let's just do standard pass. We're going to do Texas route. We're going to play against random. the famous Texas route. We're going to just play random. Here's the biggest change, and here I'm not going to pass the ball at all. I've said this on one of the Press Pass Lives recently, but part of my game plan and part of my practice in getting used to the new system and the new movement is stepping up in the pocket. And so I literally will come into practice mode and for 5 straight minutes not throw a pass, just hike the ball, step up in the pocket, step up in the pocket, take a sack, take a sack, take a sack. After 4 or 5 minutes of that, I'll start going to route 1. I'll start going to route 2. I'll start going to route 3. And I'll start stepping up in the pocket. If you don't step up in the pocket in Madden 23, you're going to have a ton more fumbles and a ton more sacks because these defensive ends and these defensive tackles are getting off of their blocks really, really quick. You need to make a decision, get the ball out, and where you're going to buy yourself the most time is stepping up in the pocket. Taking control, stepping up in the pocket.
Yep.
And I still fumbled right there because I was just taking a hit. But if you try to do the old system where I'm just going to back up, immediately disengaging, and they're coming after me, right? I'm still able to get to the outside because my defensive end shot inside. But if you just I'm going to do the old backing up 10 yards and then I'm going to get out of there, you're going to get yourself in trouble. You got to step up in to the pocket to buy yourself. And look, even then, sometimes you need to learn exactly where to step up in the pocket because those defensive tackles are still coming. And like Brady just said, they're going to be headhunting. And so you got to take over early. You got to step up in that pocket, be able to make your reads and get it out while still kind of having that mobility in the pocket because the one kind of animation, I suppose, that I don't like that's still in Madden, and I get why it's there, but the being blocked and I still get a sack on you, but it happens, right? If you watch football, offensive linemen are pushed in the quarterback's legs all the time, grabbed with one arm while they're being blocked, so it's not 100% that you're going to step up in the pocket and have a free way to go, but it definitely is something that you need to practice again there. Anything else about passing, Trey?
Be patient. That's all I can say is if you're using the placements as your options, be patient and wait. Wait for the opportunities. Just because you've seen, the Texas route, for example, I've been playing Mutt, and I've been picking people off left and right because they're so used to the bang, bang, it's gone. But now with these systems, you can really make a bad mistake if you're not paying attention.
100%. I am going to lower... Oh, I can't lower the game. What do I want to do then? I'm just going to leave it for right now, and hopefully the music doesn't annoy anyone. But we're going to bring up our browser here, and we're going to talk some Madden 23 rules, because I'm sure these are going to get tons and tons of feedback here from people. So this has been up for a couple weeks now. I wrote down just some of the ones here at the bottom that I thought were super important to talk about. Since Brady's here, we can talk about his briefly or explain exactly what the board was kind of thinking. Here's the one that I expect, and it's already got a post in here from D-Money, which D-Money, I love you. I don't know if you even watch Press Pass Live. There wasn't any real rule suggestions in there. They were more like feedback about the things you didn't like. And so we got to get rule suggestions. And so you were already given rule suggestions about new rules that were being passed. And it's like, we haven't even played a game, man. Come on. Here's the biggest one. And it's not that we are going to do this. So please hear me out, owners. The TFL. So during the Madden launch stream, I played one of our friends from the TFL. Big fan of Andy, just super nice dude. Would love to do some stuff with Andy again. It was awesome. But in there, I told him I would play by their rules. It's his game. I'll play by your rules that you have set. And so their rules in the TFL is that once you select a player on defense, you're staying as that player for the entirety of that play. Knee-jerk reaction was like, I get why they do it, but like that's a little too strict. And then I played Andy. And I got to be honest with you. Our gameplay in the OMFL is to create as much strategy and strategic football and strategic decisions, both as a GM, a roster builder, a player developer, and a play caller, and someone who's good at the sticks, your good stick skills as a coach. We're trying to find the greatest way to mesh all of those together to create like this really great even opportunity for all owners. And I feel like when you find that mesh, right, of an owner who can build players, build a team as a good GM, a great player development, great scheme that fits their style, and then is just really good at the sticks, they're champions here. That's the champions that we have here. That's how they get there. The guys like Trey, the guys like Brady, the guys like D Wayne and D Money, like all of these guys, Mo, right? Like all of these dudes that have either won a lot of games in the OMFL or won a championship has been because that season they were able to do all of those at one time. And I got through that game and went, that was actually really fun. And here's why it was really fun. Because when I made a decision on the player that I was going to be for that play, it had pros and cons. And even in our no switch league, there are less cons than there are pros because I can switch. And as long as I have a player in the vicinity, I can make a play after the ball's caught or when the running back has it. And so we see these guys who are very, very good. They build really fast teams, really strong teams. They call a really good play. And then they go play safety. And as soon as the ball is snapped and they see that it's in a run, they switch and they get a tackle in the backfield, or they're making a play for 1 yard, right? These are really good players. But playing through the TFL rules, I was like, that was actually a ton of fun. And one of the biggest feedbacks that we've been getting and trying to figure out a way to find a perfect mix was defensive line usage. We've had owners here who literally quit playing the OMFL and left our community because we would not allow defensive line usage for every play because it was overpowered and just mixed up the fun. But if we go full no switch and you're allowed to play the defensive line, the pro is you can get to me faster. If you get good at the mini game, you can get to me faster. You build a good team, you can shed block and you can get to my quarterback. But if you don't, if I run away from you, if I get the ball out, there is now a con that you have to go chase that play down to make a play, or the team that you built has to go make a play on me. And so it really was a more strategic way of playing, and I really dug it. And so I put it up for vote to the board, not as a rule, but as a way of if the board says yes, then what we will do is we will force practice. I will make all the owners in the OMFL force practice it preseason, season 102, and then we will put it up for a league vote. And it will need to pass by 51% to become a league rule. And so if the league practices it, and then after week 3 in the preseason, people will either like it or not like it, they will vote, and we will, as a league, decide if we will go full no switch. I think that is the one that is a very minor change. Literally, it is that you can't switch after the ball is caught. You get out of state of the player that you picked at the beginning of the play. And the give back was you now can play defensive end. You can now play defensive tackle. Back in the day when Brady was with the Bucks, he used to play defensive tackle and he would drive me insane. He was so good at it. He was busting up play. Like I had to game plan around Brady's use of the defensive tackle because he was so good at it. And that's had to go away because the usage was overpowered. And what guys would be able to do is play the defensive line. If they didn't get to the quarterback or you ran away, I could quickly switch because it's a run play. So there's I don't have to wait. I can switch and I can go make a play. Well, now we'll give it back to you. You can play defensive tackle every play. You can play defensive end every play. But if it gets away from you, you can't switch. And the con is that you now have to hope that the team you built make a play for you. If you're playing safety, right, it brings all these new user skills into play. So if I'm playing safety, I can go make a play on a ball, right? Instead of, switching or doing something. So I just think it opens up a lot of really cool doors, and I'm excited to just test it, because that's the only decision that's been made here, is that we're all going to play the preseason, 3 games in the preseason, not only to get back in the flow of things, get used to the new game, try out the new passing mechanics, but to test, do we want to go full no switch? Because we've always been a no switch while the ball's in the air. And so we know what that feels like. And now let's go try no switch. But I'll pause there. I've been ranting and raving. Any quick knee-jerk emotions about full no switch?
Well, you and I, the one game we did on stream, I think for the second, it was the first or the second half we tried it, and it was a bit getting used to just not immediately switching with, like, when you threw a pass and I wasn't in position to go make the tackle. It caught me a few times, but the other times it really makes you develop a set of skills, and it also helps you get in better position for tackling, honestly, because knowing that you're
100%.
You're stuck to that one guy. You're not more willing to try to make that big hit, because if you miss, you're screwed. Whereas with how we're saying now, you can miss, but you can switch to the next guy and recover yourself.
100%. And it does take some getting used to, but I felt like after 1 quarter, I was pretty used to it. Maybe the next 2 quarters, there was 1 or 2 times where I'm like, oh crap. But after 1 game, I was like, oh yeah, okay. You just kind of rewire your brain and don't switch. And it was a minor tweak, but it was a different style of game. Here's the next one. And this one I've been talking about literally since the second that I knew it was an option, and that is no custom contracts. Why is that guy not interested? Why are these dudes not interested? None of my players are interested. I was going to show.
Your motivations suck.
That's probably it. I'm going to start negotiations with my backup center. So we are saying there are no custom contracts in Madden 23. So we have neutral, which is like, it's kind of a medium for both him and me. It's kind of in the are you talking about no switch, Brady? Sorry, I was trying to read. There's player friendly, so this gives him a little bit more that he's asking, a little bit of a give up for the team. Very player friendly, so it's giving him a lot of what he's asking for. And then custom, and then team friendly. That's a lot on yours. So team friendly, neutral, player friendly, very player friendly. Those are the only 4 options that you're going to be allowed to have in Madden 23. And the question is, well, how are we going to prove it? Well, the honest truth is, if we got to prove absolutely everything here, then you're probably not going to be a fit here, and you probably won't last here, because rarely can you do anything around here and somebody doesn't find out. I'm telling you right now, somebody in this league always finds out. And so what we're going to do is you have to stream every resign that you do. I will have to do it. You will have to do it. If you're getting on at 2 o'clock in the morning and you're doing 1 player, you will need to turn on your stream for the 20 seconds that it takes to do a resign. You will need to offer your contract. You will need to submit it, and you will continue to do that until that contract is accepted. And what we are going to do as a board is that Dwayne and other guys will help as well. They will be watching the resign team. What is it? Team. What's it called? Oh, let me get out of here and figure out what it's called. It is called League Transactions. And so we will go to League Transactions every day, probably every other day. We will come over here to resigns, and we will read these. And we will look for things that look weird. And we will look for things that stick out. And if we see something that goes, Daniel Jones signed a 4-year, $38 million contract. That seems low. Let me pull up the stream. Oh, there's no stream. I don't even know who our Giants owner is anymore. But whoever the Giants is, he didn't stream this. So guess what we're going to do? Colin, that's right. So Colin, we are now going to void that contract. We're going to go in there. We're going to edit down to 0 years. We're going to void it, and you will have to re-sign him and continue to re-sign him. If that happens more than once or twice an entire Madden cycle, then you will start to get suspended. You will put up the player removal vote, but I don't see anybody going that far. It's an easy system, and here's why that system is in place. It is because some players, not all players, but some players here have understood and learned how to make tweaks to their contracts, whether it's salary bonus, whether it's salary cap, whatever it is. They've found ways to do tweaks to never have to find themselves in cap hell and to have 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 million dollars every single year. And yes, we have put in rules to help curtail that over the last couple of Maddens, but this way we don't have to worry about it. We're all on the same page. Use one of the 9 custom options and you will have to manage your cap now with what that player is asking. What this gives back to you as an owner is you now have 5 and 6 year deals. Like those are offered to you. Like if your player,
There's some you get 7.
Yeah, okay. There's some that you're asking 7. We will let you have it. Now, where the 5, 6, and the 5 and 6 year, we're not going to do 7, but the 5 and 6 year deals will come into play when it comes to free agency. You will have to earn those if you want to offer those contracts through the incentive bonuses. But for your re-signs, you can offer them any of the 4 that you want to offer. And if that player says, I want 6 years, you can give him 6 years if you choose to give him 6 years, but you will need to stream that, and that will be a part of us keeping tone on that. So knee-jerk reactions when it comes to contracts.
I'm loving it.
Yeah, I am too. Man of many words, Mr. Trey. I'm. It's one of the parts I'm most excited about, and I will openly say that we might get to the end of this Madden and I'll go, yeah, I was excited about something that really wasn't that big of a deal. But right now on the surface, I'm pretty excited about it and I can't wait to see exactly how it's going to play out.
I really don't know what else I could say to it. It's a neat feature they added. And I have a franchise because with my pre-order, I have the PS4 to go play with my other friends. And we are doing our own franchise and just the tweaks and stuff that we're doing. It's just like, I took my Lions and I'm going with the team, and I just traded Jared Goff away, and now I have the cap penalty that I'm dealing with, and like I have a player that loves everything about my team, and he's like, "Here, I'll take the team friendly deal." It's like, yes. And then that's I have guys that are like, they want the boatload. I'm like,
yep.
Are you gonna help me? Are you not? And then also another thing to keep in mind for a lot of people, you like to get rid of the older players. I suggest not if they have the mentor tag. Yep. The mentor tag will be key this year.
Yeah, the tags are going to be so key, and I think it's going to open up so many new opportunities for players who maybe will never have Trey and Brady and D-Wayne and D-Money. Like, yeah, okay, I feel like I'm saying the same guys over and over, but so I don't get in trouble by somebody who goes, you didn't say my name. But
just
anyway,
leave it this, the elite of the elite.
It's going to open up guys who will never have their stick skills to be able to build really good competitive teams. I'm really excited about it. Brady, we looked at your suggestion. There were 2 concerns. Number 1, it was wordy. And anytime you start getting into wordy rules, they're harder to remember and they open up a lot of gray area. And so that was number 2. There's just a lot of gray area. Ultimately, you need to play your man or play your zone. And if 2 players come into your zone, you're allowed to pick one that you need to cover. And if you feel like with the new momentum and the new player movement that you can get off of one player and go make a play, then good on you. Go make a play. If you built a team that has agility and speed and you're good at the stick skills and you can go make a play, then go make a play. Because ultimately, Brady, the defense is way better, but the offense with the new passing mechanic it'll be a give and take there. A lot more pressure, so they're going to have to make quicker, better, faster decisions. But if they make those quicker, better passing decisions, they can put the ball almost anywhere, right? And get it away from your defender. So giving you the ability to turn and make a play, as long as you're within your zone, I think it's totally fair game. So we will definitely relook at it if we can figure out a better solution, or if what you're trying to keep from happening happens a lot. But I don't foresee it being a problem. We removed the franchise rules that we have. We'll let the game handle what the game handles. It is what it is. We're going to do a free agent draft out of the box. We
I
added
know who I want.
Oh, do you? Okay. Well, it's going to be random order. So we're going to do, that was the big ask. They do a random order. So I will do a stream. I will do a stream this week with a random order about who's going to be in order, and we'll start that draft as soon as that roster is released. We've added defensive line to the minimums. This one I think came from my guy Roger. Good to see you, Raj. I love you. Hope you're feeling better. Just felt like we were starting to see a lot of outside linebackers and speed backers come into those backup positions because guys weren't building full defensive linemen. And now that you can kind of put like safety and linebacker positions and linebacker and defensive line positions, like all these like kind of sub rules, we just want to say, just like offensive line, there is a minimum number of defensive line that you need to have. Build them how you want to build them, but you need to have at least 7. There were definitely some changes made to defensive play calling. I did not highlight them all, but there is one that was of major discussion, and that is man defense being called on third down. And so the complaint or the issue that we have seen is that guys have, it's human nature. So I don't want to ever present this as like people breaking the rules of script. It's human nature, right? We want to win and we're competitive, and so we find a way to stay within the grayest gray areas as we can so that we have that competitive advantage. NFL players do that. Everyone does it, right? And so what we added is that not only does man defense need to be called at minimum 40% of the time overall, but it needs to be called 40% of the time baseline on third down. Because what guys were doing is they were staying within their, below 60 or whatever it was, they were staying within their limits for the entire game, but not on third down. On third down, they would use all their zone defense or they would use all their blitzes, right? And so they were going heavy. It's the same thing with bunch, which we'll get to in a minute, right? Guys are staying within their limits, bunch overall, but using majority of their bunch on third downs. And so that's what we're trying to curtail a little bit here. And so we're just adding this. There's some other changes in here. You can go read them, but we tried to clean it up a little bit, remove some of the things that don't fit with this Madden anymore. And the biggest one is that 40% of your third down calls at minimum, it's not a baseline, but at minimum expectations need to be man defense. Don't come to me with 38%. I'm not going to go watch film for 38 or 39.2%. Like, let's not do that to each other, friends. Let's hit what we need to hit, okay? And if a guy's constantly hitting 30%, then we can have a conversation. We're not going to pick apart a guy that, ran one too many zone. Yeah, it's just like, let's not do that to each other. Any feelings about man defense on third down?
Well, man defense is the meta, so. But this game, it's really the meta, so I was surprised, honestly.
We'll see. I think it may be the meta, but it's still human nature to go zone on third down, so we're going to see how it goes. Minor edits to kind of the play ability on offense. The main ones were we removed horizontal running, like the things that just aren't really in the game anymore. Just don't go backwards. We left in the quarterback not dropping back more than 10 yards just because, like, I don't want to see guys sprinting back 20 yards. But to be honest, if you go back more than 10, get ready. You're going to give up a whole lot of sacks. And so just some minor cleanup in there around offensive play. Same thing about pre-play, defensive adjustments. None of the stuff that we see online, like as soon at the snap of the ball, right stick up to send everybody to go after the run. Manually, there's this new meta blitz out there, right? That you can call an outside blitz or a contain on your ends and an outside blitz with your two outside linebackers, move some players around. The looping blitz, that's what it's called. Avoid all that stuff, okay? Don't do it. All right, run the play that you called.
Let's
just avoid that kind of stuff. So a few little cleanups there, but nothing really massive. This is more detail about the no switch. I feel like I've already talked that one to oblivion, so you know what to do there. Basically, you can switch if a fumble happens, if the ball is tipped in the air, or if the tackle battle takes place. If one of those things ensue, you can then switch to that player and do what you need to do. Outside of that, we're going to practice staying as a single player and seeing how that goes. Contracts, we've already talked about it a little bit, and so no reason to go there. We already talked about giving back the use of defensive end and defensive tackle. Trying to think if there was anything else there that... Oh, Brady, you can hit stick until your heart's desire now. It's not like it used to be where it was an automatic fumble or drop pass every time. If it becomes a problem, we'll look at it again. But if you are that player and you want to hit stick every play, then so be it. Here's one that'll be fun to talk about. Kickoffs. Two things. We don't want to see the, what is it called? I wrote it down. We don't want to see...
The scum kick?
The scum kick. Yep, there it is. Don't want to see the scum kick. Not something we see here. Just in case somebody says it, we don't want to see the scum kick. And here's something we seen last Madden that was super lame, but no one ever wanted to call the few owners out that did it, and so nothing ever happened, but I'm putting it in. When you're receiving the kickoff, you are not allowed to continue to select through highlight just over and over and over and over, hoping to cause some type of lag spike, which will cause the guy to not be able to kick it off properly and give a bad kick. So don't do it. Those can lead to a suspension and get you removed. Bunch and close formations, another hot button topic. When it comes to man and zone on third down and bunch and closed formations, I hate it. I just absolutely hate those two conversations. So bunch and closed formations have to be below 30% for the entirety of the game and below 30% on third downs. So just like we had for zone or a minimum defense or minimum man defense on third down, there is a top threshold for third down bunch and closed, 30%. 3 out of 10 plays on third down can be bunch and closed. So let's just make sure that we get above that. And again, don't come to me with 29%. I'm going to ask you to find something else to do with your time. Not going to do that. If a guy's constantly hitting 25%, then we can have that conversation in 3 or 4 weeks.
Either way, Nate.
Say it again.
If they're at 25%, they're good.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, 31%. You're right. I'm getting all my minimums mixed up here. More minor additions to the offensive play call. Mainly just try to clean these things up a little bit. But you see them here. The caution plays, the ban plays. I don't think anything really has changed there. Just try to remove some old things and clean some things up, especially the defense, which is up here now. The defense had a couple of rules that all said the same thing. And so I was just like, okay, let's just make it one rule. And so we've tried to clean those up a little bit. Don't be pre-snap adjusting every single play on offense or defense. Let's run the plays that we call friends and let's get out there and do what we're doing. Here's a big one that I think was sort of added, but also just kind of tweaked. And that's running the same play over and over, but from different formations. I seen so many games last year where it was 3 covered 2s back to back, but they were all from different formations. It's still the same play. You just called it from different formations. So it's let's mix it up a little bit. We give a little bit more leniency when it's down a distance of 12 or more yards or last drive of the game or no huddle or Hail Mary. I don't expect you to go put your team in a bad position just because. Here, again, this is why I kind of hound on this so much. Let's go back to the man defense rule, right? Minimum 40% man. Let's say I'm at 40% for the game, but then you get a no huddle defensive opportunity or offensive opportunity to end the game. I'm not forced to stay above 40% and put my team in a bad position when you're 3rd and 24. So it's we're not going to force guys. And if that makes me dip below 40%, then so be it. And so again, there's some give and take here. You guys know football. you know when someone's taking advantage of a flaw, and then when someone's just playing football, let's not do the crazy stuff. The 3 things at the top of the banned defensive list, those are the crazy things. Hot routing all the linebackers to blitz, crashing the line of scrimmage with the safety at the snap of the ball, and then the defensive line crashing. Let's just avoid the craziness. Here's another big one, and I actually don't know where you fall on this one at all, so I'd be interested. I created Draft Calculator. I did not personally, because I am not that smart. I am a dummy. I don't know formulas. And B, I don't have the time to sit there and mess with all that. But I worked with guys who knew how, and I put in the equal amount of time to get them where I wanted it to. And so I would work with them. Whether it was Rob, whether it was Clyde, whether it was Win, whether it was the guy who created the original Draft Calculator that we edited way back in like 2009, whatever it was. He stopped making the thing a long time ago. It was my idea. I did not like trade committees. And so in the process of serving the league better to make it more fair, I created the idea of a draft calculator in the OMFL to make things fair. Here is the side effect that I did not expect that has happened over the last 5 years. And that is that only 1/3 to 1/4 of this league actually trade. Because the truth is 7/8 of the league is like Brady. I'm teaching during the day. I'm coaching 3 teams on the weekend. I'm spending time with my wife and kids. They don't have an hour to sit down, not only discuss a trade, but then type it into a calculator, find something the calculator agrees to, find something you and I agree to. And so they just don't trade. And I think a big piece of the fun of a league is trades and trade conversation. And so in an effort, here's the other thing that I'll say. All those people are gone. Clyde's gone. Rob's gone. Tried to get him back. He's not interested right now. Wynn's gone. Thank God. And they're all gone. I don't have the ability to edit the calculator and constantly be tied to the people who understand formulas and how all that works to change the calculator, not only every other season to make it fit our overalls and fit what we do, but every Madden, it has to be completely remade because the Madden is completely different. And what matters is completely different. Now we have tags. What's the other thing called, Trey? You just said it. Motivations. Like, how are we going to put that in a trade calculator? Like, it's going to be so complicated to enter. It's too much. And so we're going back to a committee.
No income tax.
Yeah, like there's so many things, right? And so we're going back to a committee that not only engages board members, but it also engages longtime OMFL owners. So we get some more people with more voices in the OMFL, more engagement. It allows, Colin or Roger or Trey or Brady or me, to go work out your own deal. I created a value chart that we will use to compare. So you get a baseline of what our expectations are. So don't go trying to trade, Colin Kaepernick for 16 first rounders. That's not going to work.
He's not in the game anymore.
Oh, he's not?
Thank
I
God.
thought he would be.
No, they took him out. Thank God, because he was overrated.
There's a value chart there. So you can get an idea of what we consider value. And there's some leeway there. And the hope is that now more owners will be engaged in trade talks. And all we ask is that compare them to the value chart, make sure that they're close in the value chart, make sure that it makes sense on paper, and then give us your reason behind it. And then 5 of the 8 members will then vote. Simple, easy, clean, slightly a slowdown, but that's why we have 8 members. Only 5 need to give their passing vote. Maybe we adjust from there. Maybe we go back to our calculator. This is why we're going for it for this season. Number one is I think the new game is too complicated. There's too many new things that we cannot relate to in a calculator. And B, I'm tired of being tied to owners who are no longer here to edit that calculator. It's become too much work for everybody. And so we're going back to the old system, and I'm hoping that engages more owners. Any feelings about trades?
I'm liking that there's a committee. My question is, with there being 8 people in the committee, are you getting 1 from every division?
No, that was the ask. And maybe I go that direction in the future. But the honest truth is, I wanted to engage long-standing, long-term owners here. And so I reached out to a ton of them last Madden whenever I had this idea, and wanted to award people who've been here a long time. For instance, who's in your division now? Because your division's changed. It's Penguins, right?
No, Penguins bailed like immediately on me. I'm sad.
That's right. It's you,
me,
a Priest.
I want to say it's Cincy.
Cincy,
I
bro.
don't know who took the Bears.
Duval.
Off that.
I think.
Some
Is it
Duval.
Duval? Maybe
No,
I'm
Duval
wrong on that
left.
one. Priest. No. Yeah, okay. Duval was the Bears. Priest, for instance. You and Priest, you've both been here a long time, right? You both deserve an opportunity to have a voice in things that matter in this league. But because you're in the same division, one of you are not going to get to do it, right? And so again, maybe I reevaluate this after season 1 and it's a trade-off. One season, Trey gets to do it. One season, Priest gets to do it, and I have one from every division. But on the surface, we're going to go with the guys I have, see how it goes, and then reevaluate. Big Hurt, that's what it was, and reevaluate how it goes. And then it also, the other, like, somebody from one division everywhere. Like, what if we have a division that's got like all brand new people, right? And now we've got like a brand new person who's going to have a say-so in trade. It's just like, I don't know. We'll see. I'm open to it, not against it, but we're going to see how it goes. Colin asked if we go back to editing playbooks. I got to admit, I had to spank my own hand this afternoon because I acted a bit childish with this one. I will openly admit to all of you, I don't understand why some of you push back so hard on posting your playbook and having accountability and, giving an opportunity to be scouted and make sure that your playbook isn't full of crap that you shouldn't have. But some of you really hated it. And I found myself sticking a stake in the ground about something I shouldn't. And so I've removed the forum. You no longer have to post your playbooks. You no longer have to claim your playbooks, and you can edit them 100 times if you so choose. I still hate it. I will openly admit it's going to take me some time to get over this one because I feel like the vibe behind it is ugly. I just feel like it's got a dirty vibe behind why people don't want to be held accountable, and I could be 100% wrong. And I still don't understand. It literally takes you like 2 minutes tops to upload your playbook and post what it's called. But guys hated it, and I'm not willing to burn the house down over playbooks. It's not worth it. Freeform passing is still being discussed. It has not been decided, but I will tell you now, it is very heavily leaning towards not being allowed. We will reevaluate these every season, guys. And so if you're a big freeform passer and you hate that we're not going to allow it, let it play out for one season, okay? And then we'll reapproach it. But that one is not decided. It's going to be decided hopefully in the next 48 hours, and is still in discussion, but is very heavily leaning towards not being allowed. This was Dwayne's basic. I can boil this all down to one sentence. He's saying keep offensive linemen at the positions where they are. Tackles can go to tackles, guards to guards, center to guards. I think he's willing to allow. Not 100% sure. I need to look at that. But he's wanting to be more strict with offensive line movement. He feels it would open up free agency a bit more and cause guys to build their offensive lines a little bit more. That is up for discussion and is in its very early stages. It just went up tonight. I think I'm the only person to post kind of my thoughts and feelings on that. So that is TBD. D-Money's stuff in here, I responded to it. D-Money, allow switching. We're not a switch league. I'm not saying we'll never be a switch league, but as of now, we're not a switch league. And so I'm not going to like allow, you can switch, but don't hit stick or don't do this or don't do, it's too much gray area in there. I hear you about the trade count.
Season Madden 23.
Maybe. We'll see. Because that final season, we always do craziness. So we may need to. I'm hoping this Madden is so good, though. We don't need to do that, but we'll see. I never say never. The trade cow, I explained it. D-Money, it's super complicated. And now that you have, say it for me again, Trey. What was it again?
Motivations and tags.
And tags. Now that you have those, that like coaching trees, motivations and tags, what's players' value? It's too complicated now for a calculator. It just is. Last year's calculator was already super complicated with coaching trees and abilities, and so we're just going back to here's your value chart. Make something that's close to that you both agree to. Give us your reasons why. We'll see if a committee of your peers approve it. And then the playbook changes that we've already talked about. So, man, I'm gonna breathe for a second.
Long-winded.
What do you think? There's a lot of things that are changing.
There's a lot of things that are changing, but I definitely think it's for the better. I am upset about one thing. Why can't I go do Barry Sanders and run backwards and then bust a touchdown?
Well, because there's no more Barry Sanders. That's why. I watched a video of him. It just randomly came on YouTube, and I was like, we really do forget how, like, that human was a different human being. You know, the Deion Sanders. Those are different human beings. I think, LeBron James probably could have been one of those guys. He feels like a different human being type of player, but different human, bro. That's a different human. That's what I'm saying. If he played, I'm not a massive LeBron James guy, but he seems so athletic and big. Like he could have played tight end and basketball and probably first base, right? If he wanted to.
I believe he was in high school wide receiver in Ohio. And
yeah, he'd have been crazy big receiver.
10 games, he had like 1,600 yards.
It's crazy, out of all the stuff that we talked about, any of them stick out as the most exciting that you're ready to do?
I am most excited about the passing. I am so excited to see how people... I want to now sit down and go, okay, somebody's watching. I want to see how they use their passing. What plays do they like to throw the ball over the top more or throw underneath to get the guy to come back on it or something like that.
Yep, I agree with you. I think it's going to open up so many cool doors and opportunities, and there's going to be a lot of neat stuff. And we're about to get rolling. I think we're waiting for, and it may have dropped today. I haven't got to really be.
Should be Tuesday because cuts are okay. Tuesday is the final. They cut it 4 Eastern, so we should get it Friday.
Hopefully, we'll get a roster update soon. The biggest thing I'm looking for the roster update really isn't a bunch of like changed attributes and abilities and stuff, but just the undrafted free agents. Maybe I'm in the minority. I would probably expect me to be, but very loud phone.
I just got a new phone, so I transferred all my iPhone stuff over, so I had my alarm set twice. Oh, I still have my old
taking
iPhone.
Medicine.
Yes.
So yes. I love undrafted free agents, and I want to give everybody all the undrafted free agents on their real team. Then we're going to start making imports, getting them on your team, give you the, whatever it is, 75-man roster. We'll get it as close as we can. It's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be a contract missing. There's always going to be something somebody's messaging me about. We'll do our very best to make it as right as we can before we get started. But I would expect in the next 7 to 10, 12 days, we're going to get rolling. And they're going to be full 3-day advances, play the preseason game as if it were a regular game. One of the things I'll announce whenever we get rolling and we start inviting everybody is allow the game to do whatever subs it does. Like, don't pause and put all your starters back in for extra XP. Set your depth charts and sub, let the game do whatever the game does, whatever subs it makes. We'll play with injuries off. We'll play with practice fatigue off. That way we start the fresh season fresh, and we'll get to week 1 in the next 2 weeks. And hopefully by then we got the new helmets and we got the roster update and we're ready to go and ready to play ball. This is an exciting Madden. And I think once people really get into it, they're going to find it to be pretty darn good. And there's so much movement, player movement, team movement, owner movement, with all the new stuff that Madden gives us, the new rules and changes to open things up, this could be, season 102 could be one of the most eventful engaging, fun, interesting, whatever adjective you want to put on it, seasons that we've ever seen. And who knows who's going to be in OMFL Bowl 102.
I am quite worried about having to play Miami. That's all I will say.
Why? What is it about Miami that's freaking you out?
Trying to deal with a 99 speed and a 98 speed receiver is going to be annoying.
Yeah, but just think about that phrase. For me as a commissioner, it's like Trey's already thinking about, okay, when I play this team, I'm gonna have to game plan for this. I'm gonna have to not only think about what position player I'm gonna play every play, what play calls I call, what players are in these positions, am I shading over the top? Like, that's what we want, right? Because I think, in my opinion, I'm not saying I'm just my point of view, I go into some of these games thinking I have zero chance. There's no matter what I do in this game. And yeah, every now and then you get lucky, right? Every now and then the Nates of the world beat the D-Moneys in the like once every 100 games. But we know how most of those games go, right? And the honest truth is most of our top dogs are always the ones in the championship games and the bowl games, right? It's going to be the Treys and the D Waynes and the D Moneys and the Bradys and the Denbrews, and like it's going to be our top dogs. And every now and then one, and somebody else will sneak in there, but most of the time it's let's be honest. I know I got there last season, so maybe I'm a bad one, but I don't want to call anybody else out. But like we have a set of players that I'm usually bundled in that we just know they have like 2% chance to get to the bowl game this year. Well, going into this Madden, I feel like it's like we all got all the chances in the world. If you put in the work and you build the team, it's wide open.
Definitely spread.
But sure. I will say, if you don't put in the work, if you don't listen to the tips and the tricks that are out there that we said on here, if you don't go put in the practice, that gap could get wider, right? If you're at the bottom and you don't go practice stepping up or the new passing mechanic or building a good team, you could find yourself not only at the bottom, but 18 feet under.
Oh, definitely.
Well, Trey, thanks for hanging out with me tonight, bud. Sorry, team, I got started just a little bit later. I'm an Uber for a boy. I don't know if any of you have ever went car shopping here in the States. It is scary crazy. There are full car lots with no cars on them. You can't find a car, and cars that would probably be $7,000-$8,000 are going for like $18,000, $19,000, $20,000. It's just nuts out there right now. And my poor guy needs a car, and so we're in the midst of car shopping. And until that's solved, Mr. Nate here is his Uber. So we got started later than I wanted to, but I appreciate Trey being patient with me. I love you, Trey. Thanks for hanging out with me. Let's get you to come hang out with me as much as your schedule lets you.
I'll be here every Sunday if it allows.
Done. Let's make it happen. Guys, Brady, Colin, Raj, praying for you, my guy. You got to get healthy. Got to get you back on your feet. Can't wait to see you guys all on the next one. Until then, God bless. Know that you matter, bro. You really do. And tell the people that they matter to you in your life. Tell them that they matter. And we'll see you in the next one. Love you.
Yeah.
Smash that like and subscribe.